Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Casson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Casson?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Ms. Speltz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Wonderful. And now we will move on to our presentations. Mr. Connolly, Dr. Diskin.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Tonight, this was postponed from our snowstorm. Mr. Connolly is going to introduce for our science STEM pathways. That's the first presentation, and then we'll go right into the Millburn High School dual enrollment where Ms. Alvarez will present. So, Mr. Connolly?
Glasses and stuff. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share with the Board of Education and the community a little bit about what we've done and some updates coming with regard to science STEM and mathematics, and then we'll immediately roll right into an update on the dual enrollment. So we have with us this evening, we have Ms. Christy Young, Director of STEM. We have Ms. Dr. Andrea Knorr, our Supervisor of Science. We have our Director of Mathematics, Ms. Leanne Martin, and we have our Director of Guidance, Ms. Catherine Alvarez. So if those individuals want to come up and begin to present, that would be great.
I'm not going to touch it anymore. Hi, good evening, everyone. This evening we'll be sharing out the STEM pathways, which include, from our perspective, myself and Dr. Knorr will be sharing about science and computer science. The things that we'd like for you to take away from today is looking at how the state has changed the graduation criteria, how we are moving to consistent prerequisite grades for students to enroll in our AP courses, increasing access to AP Physics C courses, also expanding our dual enrollment opportunities for students in science, and lastly, creating opportunities for students to enroll in computer science classes as early as 9th grade. So starting off with science, our previous graduation requirements given to us by the state is that students are required to take 15 credits with at least 5 credits in each of the science courses that are being named as biology, life science, or content equivalent, as well as taking a science class such as chemistry, environmental science and physics, and another laboratory-based science course. The state, starting in the fall of 2026 for incoming 9th graders, is shifting the language that they are using, which will now include 15 credits of an evidence-based science course. So what does that mean for our students in Millburn? It means that roughly all of the students that are enrolled in the district in high school will have no problems maintaining or achieving this, as this is what we are already offering to students. One of the things that is also changed in the language is that earth and space sciences need to be included in what students are doing while they're in high school over the course of 4 years. And because of our integrated chemistry and earth science course, our students are already meeting this requirement. The instruction is going to focus on evidence-based science, which is really hands-on learning, and the 3-dimensional practices, which include the science and engineering practices, the disciplinary core ideas, and the cross-cutting concepts. So all in all, our pathways that Dr. Knorr is going to share with the community tonight meet the requirements that the state is providing for us moving forward.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea Knorr. I'm the secondary supervisor for science and technology, so that's for grades 6 to 12. And you can see on this slide, we have a recommended pathway for students in high school. This is based on some language from the New Jersey Department of Education Model Curriculum Framework. And by that I mean that students take chemistry before physics. So that, again, is the recommended pathway. In grades 9, 10, 11, and 12, they would take integrated chemistry and earth science, followed by biology, then chemistry, and then physics. For some students that want to take physics before chemistry, they would do this ultimately if their goal is to take AP Physics C. So their 9th and 10th grade courses would be the same, but then in 11th grade, they would take a version of AP Physics 1 or AP Physics 1 and 2. And then in 12th grade, they would take one of the AP Physics C courses alongside chemistry. On this slide here, you can see the electives outlined. There are several starting in grade 9. Additional electives are added in grades 10, 11, and 12. This slide is highlighting the fact that we have a new course for next school year, and that is dual enrollment environmental science. This is something that is a little bit different in the sense that it does not have an academic grade requirement, and students would get Seton Hall credit. A couple other things I just want to point out. I could say a lot of great things about all of the classes on this list, but just wanted to highlight the science research classes here. It's a unique program. Not a lot of schools have science research, where students work with a science research advisor to compete in a variety of external competitions. The AP Biology elective offered in grade 12 is specifically for students who did not take AP Biology in 10th grade, but still want to take AP Biology before they graduate. So one of the outcomes of this presentation was to also outline some of the criteria for AP courses. And on this slide here, you can see that overall we have streamlined the prerequisite grades from the previous science course. And that AP Biology elective that I mentioned, really the main requirement is that students have already taken biology and chemistry. Just like the dual enrollment class, there's no specific grade requirement for AP Biology elective. AP Physics gets its own slide as far as the proposed criteria. Mostly because here you can see the second row shows AP Physics C. That is what is currently offered. And in reality, that class is preparing students for 2 exams, both AP Physics C Mechanics and AP Physics C Electricity and Magnetism. We are going to split this into 2 classes. The final row is showing that we are essentially going to run the course as it currently is, and also offer an additional option for students who want to take AP Physics C Mechanics only. This is a slide, just a different way of showing the same thing. We have a new course, right? AP Physics C Mechanics, so that is a brand new course, whereas the current course that's offered, it's labeled as AP Physics C, when in reality, we are preparing students for 2 different exams, so we are changing the name of that course. One other thing to note is that with this change, we are maximizing opportunities for students so that within science, they could take as many as 6 AP exams. This just shows some of the different ways, once you are in either AP Physics 1 or AP Physics 2, what you would take as a senior. So if you're in AP Physics 1, you would take AP Physics C Mechanics along with a level of chemistry. AP Physics 1 and 2, those students could choose either mechanics or mechanics with electricity and magnetism, and also a chemistry class. Within the computer science department, we see here again the current pathways, so students would follow either the top row or the bottom row. And on this slide, the column titles are very intentional. So it's not necessarily you start year 1 is grade 9. You could start in 10th grade or 11th grade. And you may also notice that regardless of which row you follow, the languages, which are written in parentheses, both Python and Java, they jump around a little bit. So with the new pathway for computer science, we are accomplishing two things. Number one, students will have a more consistent order of the languages that they are coding in. They would do Python in their first year, followed by Java in years 2 and 3. And the other major thing to notice is that we are offering AP Computer Science principles to ninth graders who meet specific criteria. Those are outlined here on this slide. So again, whereas we are currently offering to grades 10, 11, and 12, we are expanding access to grade 9 students who meet specific grade requirements in their math class, as well as specific requirements for their NJSLA. And these recommendations are based on those from the College Board. The College Board recommends that students have completed a first-year high school algebra course. So just to summarize, Ms. Young outlined the change in the language for the graduation criteria. We showed you some information about making the prerequisite grades for AP classes consistent within science. We are providing another option for students to take AP Physics C while also making the title of the course more clear that it is both mechanics and electricity and magnetism as the course is currently offered. We are adding a dual enrollment class for environmental science, and we are opening AP Computer Science principles to grade 9 students that meet specific criteria. Our contact information is listed here, and we want to thank you and ask if the board has any questions.
I just want to, while we're waiting for your questions, I just want to thank the teachers for the hard work that they've done this year in helping us to expand the pathways and giving their input as to where they think students are ready to be challenged. All of the information can be found and more, because there are other electives in computer science that were not included in this presentation in the program of studies that has been revised for this upcoming school year.
Thank you all very much. That was a very informative presentation. Does anyone have any questions from the board? Yes. Mr. Casson?
Thank you. First off, I also thought that was a fantastic presentation. I'm excited to see the many new pathways. I am curious as to what occurs in 8th grade, because all of the information really started 9th grade and beyond, other than the algebra information. So, what does the 8th grade look like now, and is there any change to that's occurring in connection with this?
So right now, our 8th grade course is a biology course that students take. That course is offered at both the accelerated and the academic level. Right now, we are doing and working where we are having the teachers have vertical articulation, so they have the opportunity to talk to one another to make sure that what is being taught in 8th grade aligns to where students need to be in 10th grade. Our accelerated biology course is quite rigorous. When you look at what the students are accomplishing and doing in that class, they work on CER, which stands for Claim Evidence Reasoning, where students have to be able to support a claim that they're making based on evidence, which if you look at what the language that the state uses, talking about the evidence-based science course, so our 8th grade and all of our middle school courses are also evidence-based. And the way that we make sure that students are prepared for going into AP Biology in 10th grade, so we have high school students taking a college level course starting in 10th grade in science. And so our pathway from 8th grade to 9th grade really gives students the foundational skills that they need to be able to do that. And we have great success. And we're one of the only school districts that offers students the opportunity to take an AP biology course and AP chemistry without taking the prerequisite high school courses. So it's quite a challenging and rigorous course that our students are doing very well in. So we're very proud of them.
Thank you. May I ask one more?
Of course.
Thank you. One of the last slides pointed to the criteria for getting into, yes, thank you, that's the one, into the proposed criteria from 8th grade math. It has listed the accelerated algebra 90 or above, or non-accelerated algebra 93 or above. And then below the line, it says NJSLA exceeding expectations. Is that a and or an either for the criteria?
That's an and. So we're looking for the student to meet the grade level expectations from one of those 3 math courses, and then to also have the Algebra 1 and the ELA in exceeding expectations to be able to be taking a college level course in 9th grade. We want to make sure that students have the language that's necessary to be able to be successful in working with the content as well as the questions that are asked on the exam.
In the NJSLA exams, is there a tier above exceeding expectations?
No, that is the highest.
That's the highest
And that
tier.
would be equivalent to a level 4.
Sorry, a level 4?
A level 5, sorry. Thank you, level 5.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, I guess we're ready for the next presentation. Thank you.
Similarly, I'd like to introduce Ms. Leanne Martin, Director of Mathematics. She's here to talk about the expansion of our mathematics program, and just kind of highlighting in both of these presentations, part of our work has been really to allow for some pathways and opportunities for students to mature academically at their own rate, and giving them opportunities so that they're not boxed out of specific classes along the way. So here's Ms. Leanne Martin to talk through the mathematics.
Okay, so first I'm going to review the changes that have occurred this year at the middle school for math pathways and tell you what's coming next year. Then I'm going to move to the high school, and this is just a bulleted list of takeaways that you will come away with. There'll be changes to pre-calculus course names and curriculum, including a clarification of the AP pre-calculus course, in addition to a new course following Algebra 2, which will be called College Algebra with Trigonometry. There will also be revisions to calculus course names and curricula, including a dual enrollment opportunity. There will be a dual enrollment opportunity in probability and statistics. And then I also want to talk about 2 more double up options in addition to the one we implemented this year. There'll be a grade 10 double up option in geometry and Algebra 2 CPA, which will provide our students with another pathway to calculus, and a grade 9 Algebra 1 repeat with geometry, where if they struggle in grade 8, they can take Algebra 1 again to solidify their foundation and continue with their pathway in geometry so that they can continue to calculus by grade 12. And also another change to our grade 9, instead of putting our pre-algebra students, placing them into another year of pre-algebra in grade 9, we're developing a 2-year Algebra 1 course. So they will take Algebra 1 Part 1 in grade 9 and then Part 2 in grade 10. More info on that. But first, I just want to review the changes this year. We kind of had 3 key changes. We had Accelerated Math 6. We had revisions to our Accelerated 7 to include grade 7 and 8 standards, and we had our pilot group Algebra 1 in grade 7. The only change next year will be our pilot Algebra 1 students moving on to geometry in grade 8. And just to emphasize that Algebra 1 and geometry are high school level courses. So a student who is not accelerated in those courses is still on grade level. Grade 8 pre-algebra is on grade level according to the state, and I'm going to talk about another opportunity for them in high school so that they can reach calculus as well. Okay, so let's start with our revised pre-calculus courses. Basically, where these revisions stemmed from was because AP pre-calculus was truly designed by College Board for a student who may not reach calculus in high school. So that senior who wanted an AP math course, who was just going to reach pre-calculus and maybe take calculus in college. So our students, our current 10th and 11th graders are in AP pre-calculus, they're preparing for AB and BC calculus. So we feel that AP pre-calculus should really be opened up to more of our pre-calculus students. Some of our pre-calculus CPA students could be successful on this exam with maybe some self-studying. So what we decided to do is take those two groups and divide them up into three. You have AP pre-calculus with BC preparation. The title is AP pre-calculus with an introduction to BC. That is the top tier, and that will prepare our students for that BC calculus, intense, rigorous, fast-paced curriculum that will be done within the first 3 quarters to leave ample time for preparation for that test. Leaving AP pre-calculus open to a wider range of students. And again, that will have that exam focus, so that pacing will have to be within the first 3 quarters. And then we also want to offer a pre-calculus accelerated where that curriculum does not have an exam focus. Now, those students may want to do some self-studying and take that exam, but it won't be part of the curriculum. And then our Intro to Pre-Calculus CPA, that's our current course. We are going to do some revisions this summer, and that will be our new pre-calculus CPA. And then for those students who are not necessarily ready for pre-calculus in grade 12, but may want to take it in college, because you can take it in college, we are developing a new course called College Algebra with Trigonometry, which will bridge them to that pre-calculus. And we also have our Math Analysis CPA. There are no changes to that. Here is the criteria, the recommendation criteria for these courses. It will, definitely open up more opportunity for students, and most of them mirror that of AP at a glance. For the AP courses, there have been no changes for this year, but the pre-calculus accelerated, you'll see, is open up to more students. As far as the calculus courses, on the left is the old, on the right is the new. Our AP Calculus BC and AB, no changes. So we're thinking Calculus Accelerated and Calculus CPA truly can be combined. And that should be our dual enrollment through Seton Hall population. So they will all receive accelerated credit, and they can also receive college credit for that course. And then Intro to Calculus CPA currently will be our new Calculus CPA. That course is designed for students who are preparing to take a calculus course in college. I mean, depending where you go, students have to be assessed before they enter. Depending on the calculus course in college, they may know a lot of the material, but that's a great preparation to take a calculus course anywhere. Again, this is the criteria for these courses. Again, AP at a glance is exactly the same as 25-26. And the only other addition is a dual enrollment opportunity in probability and statistics. A lot of our students could benefit from the Seton Hall credits, and we will also have one still offered at CPA level. So here is a visual that shows you pathways to calculus by grade 11. You can see our geometry in grade 8. You can see the Algebra 1 or Excel Algebra 1 double up option in grade 9, which we began this year, and the students have been very successful using the criteria established. And those are all the new course names. Progressing to all the way to grade 12, there's multivariable calculus. We will be implementing that for 27-28. We have started that process. Here are pathways to calculus by grade 12. You can see in that chart I have both double up options that I mentioned. I have from Algebra 1 or Excel Algebra 1, if a student wants to retake Algebra 1 in grade 9, they can do so. As long as they took it in the middle school, they can do so and continue the pathway with geometry. And then we have our pre-algebra students who are on grade level, go to Algebra 1, CPA in grade 9, can double up in geometry and Algebra 2, which opens up another pathway to calculus by grade 12. This is the criteria for doubling up. The grade 9, that was implemented this year, and students were very successful. We're going to try this in grade 10 at the CPA level and see how it goes. We're still monitoring the progress of our double up students. And we are still running summer geometry as another pathway for those students who would like to take calculus before graduating. And this is the entire chart from grade 8 to grade 12. The colors are, your Algebra 1 courses are the light blue, the geometry is yellow, the Algebra 2 is the light green. Nope, the double up options are the light green. The Algebra 2 is the light purple. Pre-calculus is the light blue, calculus is the pink, and the math electives are orange. All of these courses have comprehensive descriptions in the program of studies that you can look at and read through. There's a lot of detail about the expectation and the coursework and the topics. Looking ahead to 27-28, if we do Algebra 1, Part 1 in grade 9 next year, we will be planning the Algebra 1, Part 2 for grade 10 for 27-28. I already mentioned multivariable calculus in grade 12. We've started that. And we're looking into AP Business with Personal Finance as an added AP course in the business department. Thank you for listening. I know it's a lot of information and it's very overwhelming. I would also like to thank the middle school and high school math teachers. They have put so much work into this with me, and they are behind these revisions and excited for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. I do know that was a lot of work that went into all of those changes. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Lawrence?
Thank you. Can you go back to page 5?
Page 5.
And by the way, wonderful presentation, great step in the right direction.
Thank you. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Now, you said a change we made was below AP, that we made more access, right?
Yes.
So it'll be like everything from AP pre-calculus and below? Is that what you're saying? That we opened up more?
So we're bringing back pre-calculus accelerated, which was replaced with AP pre-calculus. We're bringing it back in because we want our students to be able to learn that curriculum within a whole year and not have the pressure of an AP pre-calculus exam.
Sure. And I like the greater access, that's definitely the direction that we've been moving forward with. Just some of them, the ones that have an A, I think that's something worthwhile to look into as we move forward, because somebody who can A-, B+, but still want to step up to the next level should have that ability to access those additional opportunities. So I would just say, as we continue with this, we should look to expand that further.
Definitely. So that AP pre-calculus with BC Prep this is the first year for it.
Understood.
So we'll start there and look ahead.
And the others as well.
Yes.
Have A's, too. Thanks.
Which one?
Any of them that has an A requirement? There's A in the top, and then the second box, the bottom one on the right, recommended criteria is an A.
Right.
And then the one second from the bottom has an A with a teacher review. All I'm saying is, kids, whatever the reason is, the A-, B+, they still may be very capable of making the step to the next level, and we should provide that access if they want to pursue that.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Wong?
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a great. I mean, it's great we provide more opportunities, elective classes. You know, that's our students to our students. I think my question is a bit more general. I think it's for the administration. We compare with what we have, and we are going to have. I understand a lot of the new classes or new level of classes will be provided to students, and also the criteria for students, you know, be able to take these classes, also as some material changes. So has the district provided enough supports and you know, resources to our teachers?
Absolutely.
Our teachers, yeah, that's because I myself major in physics, so I know some of classes like physics how difficult it's not only. I mean, so that's a criteria I really want to emphasize. Also, would like to, you know, the district administrators need to provide how can I say, enough support, resources, and to our teachers to let them expect what the classes, you know, should be, and also so that's my key criteria. I would like to emphasize that, and not only for our students but also for our teachers, because we have so many new classes. You know, they could be very different from before.
I agree, and they've been a part of this work in every step of the way.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Casson.
Yeah, thank you. I'm following up on my earlier question for the others and for Mr. Lawrence's question as well, which is the criteria that gets established for the thresholds. How is that process developed? Where did the standards come from, both in terms of the grading tier and the use of NGSLAs? What's the process that goes into developing that?
So basically, as far as what you see in the chart is based on past student performance and, you know, how successful they are in these courses. As far as the NJSLA, we develop that to ensure that if they're going to double up in grade 9, we really want them to have a in-depth understanding of Algebra 1. And on the NJSLA, it's a different metric because they don't know what they're going to be asked. So they really have to have an understanding of Algebra 1 and be able to apply it without knowing what will be asked of them, which is a different skill than studying something and then doing it the next day. Does that make sense? It tells a different part of the story.
It does make sense, although it raises concerns for me, like the bad day syndrome. What happens if you have a bad day on the NGSLAs, but you've highly performed in your classes? Is there a remedy path or a process by which a student or family can work with the teachers and administrators to, get in when they're capable of getting in?
So there's always, special circumstances, and we are going to explore a waiver that, if a situation were to occur, we have something in place. Okay. But that's always a possibility.
I'm interested in hearing more about that, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Great, I think we have one more presentation. Excellent, thank you.
So Ms. Martin set us up for the next presentation, which really talks a little bit about the work that we're doing with the dual enrollment and the dual enrollment process here in Millburn. It hasn't been something that we've had, but as you've heard tonight, in science and in math, there's been lots of dual enrollment opportunities that have been shared. And I cannot speak enough about the work that Ms. Alvarez has done to kind of really champion and lead this process in bringing it here. So without further ado, I'm going to let her walk us through this presentation.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Alvarez. I'm the Director of Student Personnel and Guidance here in Millburn. First, I'd like to just thank the directors and the supervisors and the teachers. The directors and supervisors for spending countless hours with me in Google Meets with Seton Hall dual enrollment, and for the teachers who showed an interest in teaching. I think it's amazing, and I'm really excited to present tonight on this topic. So tonight I'm excited to share our first dual enrollment partnership, which is with Seton Hall. This initiative represents an important step forward in expanding other dual enrollment opportunities, which will come in 27 and 28 school year. I want to just point out that this is really an opportunity to expand for our students and also to continue building these partnerships with other colleges and universities. So I'll start by briefly explaining what dual enrollment is, why we're pursuing it, and how it benefits our students. Can we make it bigger? Yes, I was going to do that. There we go. Thanks. I'll also be outlining the courses proposed in the 26-27 school year program of studies, as well as walk you through eligibility, expectations, and planning considerations. Dual enrollment courses are taught here in Millburn at a regular school day. Students will earn both high school credit and college credit simultaneously, and the college credit appears on the official Seton Hall transcript. Okay. And why dual enrollment? So, as you will see, why dual enrollment? We are expanding opportunities, we are supporting diverse learners, it is early college access, and it really aligns with our district goals. Dual enrollment offers an academically rigorous option without relying on that single high-stakes exam for APs, which is important distinction from AP. We are really trying to marry the two here. We're not trying to give an option of dual enrollment or AP. We really want to make it a combination. We want children to have that opportunity to take both. Colleges recognize dual enrollment coursework as college level rigor, and many institutions also consider it comparable to AP. I've been reviewing and meeting with many reps, and they have shared that same information with me. Most importantly, this model intentionally widens our access. Students across CPB, CPA, accelerated, and AP pathways can all benefit, supporting equity, diverse learners, and early exposure to that college expectation. These will be the courses that we have pursued through Seton Hall dual enrollment. We have our British Literature English, our Environmental Science for Science, our Calculus and Probability and Statistics for Mathematics, our Latin Greco-Roman Mythology for World Language. We have 2 Fine Arts and Performing courses that are still pending, our Consortium and Music and Technology, and then we have our Human Rights. Our initial launch, we submitted a thoughtful and balanced set of courses at Seton Hall Review, and again, I do thank the teachers who showed an interest in these courses. That's really how the work can be done here. So who can take the courses? The primary audience for the initial enrollment were the rising seniors, though juniors can also benefit from this opportunity by meeting the readiness criteria. The strengths of this model is that students benefit from that college level rigor while retaining that safety net of our counseling and instructional teams. While many parents have asked how are students going to be supported through this model, that is the best part of it, that it is supported through our counseling teams and our instructional teachers. So while the Millburn school counselors already provide that ongoing support and planning, for the dual enrollment, we are simply formalizing that process. So it's a bit more structured so that counselors can follow their students who are in dual enrollment to ensure success in the completion of the course. So in limited cases, rising sophomores may be eligible, particularly for Latin Greco-Roman mythology. This offers that early exposure for students who demonstrate readiness and interest in the humanities, world language, while still maintaining appropriate guardrails. This offers that flexibility while they also have the responsibility. So these are common questions that many parents had asked when shared the survey regarding dual enrollment, and part of this is also to ensure that we're providing our parents with thoughtful planning and giving them the guidance that they need along the way. This partnership is not static. Our long-term vision is really to build a cohort-based pathway tied to student interest and workforce relevance. So when we talk about dual enrollment, we do talk about the options for the future. Many parents had shared that they were interested in those healthcare pathways, so that's something we are planning in the future for. So will it count towards graduation? Yes, dual enrollment will count towards graduation. It's fulfilling the same graduation requirement as the non-dual enrollment version, and it also provides an option for that Seton Hall transcript. Is there a cap on the number of Seton Hall dual enrollment courses? So Seton Hall does not have a cap. However, because this is our first year piloting this, we are being thoughtful in planning, and we are trying to ensure that we keep a limit of 1 to 2 dual enrollment courses for that first launch. And we're going to be monitoring our students very closely to ensure that there's successful completion in the course. And are the courses more difficult than APs? So when asked with Seton Hall dual enrollment director, they basically shared that this is very similar to the college level experience, except it's not being dependent on that one exam in the AP, which is the benefit for some students because they get to take the whole course throughout the year and really get through the full course, taking exams and learning as they go instead of really pushing through that those 3 months, those 3 quarters for that final exam in the APs. It is college level coursework. It's graded across the year in tests, projects, and papers. It is the same as Millburn for those dual enrollment courses. Credits are earned through successful completion, not a final exam. And this is what I mentioned before. This is our direction building towards health science pathways and more. Many parents had shared their interest, and students had shared their interest in building and options in AP advancement through dual enrollment. We are currently looking through that, and we're expanding our partnerships through Seton Hall to include introductory health science, public health, and biomedical focused college courses. We're currently working through also other dual enrollment programs to ensure the option for that micro certification, whether it's through a biology course or even other courses. Another benefit is that we have the option to design cohort-based dual enrollment pathways. So we can actually survey the students and ensure that we're directing our dual enrollment opportunities to the benefit of the students and what they desire in terms of their program for college and readiness. Another identifying partnership is we're going to be moving forward next year into Syracuse dual enrollment, so we're very excited about that. And then we have data-driven pathways. We're identifying student interest clusters and emerging trends through these surveys that we're asking from our 9th through 12th graders to just build those cohort-based groups for future dual enrollment pathways. And then the advantages of dual enrollment. We have academic advantages, financial advantages, and college admissions advantages. Academic advantages, students really get to experience that college level rigor, and they also have the benefit of submitting a transcript from Seton Hall University. And as I said before, colleges and universities, they see dual enrollment as that AP option. They separate it as like the rigor of an AP course. So that is definitely something our students are going to benefit from. It strengthens their GPA and their transcript. The financial advantages is that it's reduced tuition. It's $110 a credit, and that's $330 for a whole course. It's a wonderful value. And then college admission advantages is shows depth and rigor, produces a verified Seton Hall transcript, builds confidence in students. It helps them develop time management skills and independence, and it helps students explore interests before college. So this is the eligibility. It's very simple. We will open up our registration period, and our counselors and our student center for counseling suite will be supporting through a registration night for parents to ensure that all parents know and have all the information needed for the registration. That's going to be the support that we offer through this pilot program. And this is our launch timeline, which we're at right now. We're pretty much finalizing our parent education piece. I will be sharing a piece of this presentation out with all our families so everyone will have access to this. And then in August is when we would like to do that parent registration night, ensuring that parents know all the information they need. And then in September, our classes will begin. Key takeaways. This is Millburn's first college credit partnership offering high impact opportunities. Students can earn Seton Hall credits at a reduced cost. Courses align with student interests, humanities, science, arts, social sciences. We have currently no cap on the courses through Seton Hall. However, Millburn counselors will be advising for 1 to 2 courses depending on their eligibility. And credits count towards both high school graduation and college advancement. And I'm providing Ms. Filippi's information, but you can also email me directly if you have any questions. Also, if you have any input into this presentation, I welcome your input. So thank you so much, and I welcome any questions from the board.
Thank you. I've actually gotten to see that a couple of times through the various parent nights, and it's a very exciting program. Any questions? Mr. Bigman?
Thank you very much, Ms. Alvarez. That's an incredible amount of work. I think having college-level courses available to students definitely increases access and equity amongst the entire student population. I just wanted to ask a question specifically about applying to these courses. There is no grade requirement? Like you could basically be any level and any grade and still apply and get into the course?
So that's been one of like the champion points about this whole program, right? We want to open this up to everybody. It's challenge by choice, and that's really a term we've used in this whole process. If you want to take the opportunity and seize the opportunity, and you feel you want to challenge yourself, this is an opportunity for you to do it. So, unlike the AP, which Mr. Lawrence brought up earlier, where there was some maybe a little bit more restrictive requirements, this is a program that we're bringing that really expands that access and still gives our students to really great opportunity to expand the strength of their overall college transcript as they're looking to apply to school. So, we're really trying to be very mindful about what we're doing as we expand some of these pathways and give students the opportunities that they need to be successful and challenge themselves along the way. So I hope that answered your question.
It does. Thank you. It's super also, so thank you.
Ms. Wang?
Yeah, thank you. This is a great opportunity. Definitely expand more opportunity for our students. But based on my own understanding, I think the question is, when you choose the school district to choose which college or which universities to set up this partnership, I understand this. It's important questions. So, what kind of criteria or considerations when the district choose this university or that university, like we choose a So I think these criteria, I understand maybe the parents also want to know, right? What's criteria, what's the considerations when the school choose this university versus that university? Would you like to give some,
Sure. So
yeah, I hope that's a question.
through the initial process of just the research behind which universities and colleges we were partnering with, we developed directors, supervisors, even counselors, shared input on what colleges and universities would be the best benefit for our students based on our students who are applying for college. We looked at the top 20% of colleges that students are applying to. We also did research with our neighboring schools to see what dual enrollment options they had offered to their students. So there was a lot of thoughtful planning in picking and selecting the different colleges and universities that we're currently going to be partnering with in the next couple of years. And in regards to the criteria, we've thought through this several times, through several meetings, and directors and supervisors had shared a lot of just input into what would the criteria be necessary for students to be successful in this course. And there is prerequisite requirements for some of these dual enrollment courses. However, what we're trying to do is really open access for those students in CPA, CPB, in accelerated. Any student really can benefit from a college level experience. And when they submit their transcript to a college for review through the college application process, their transcript is going to be reviewed equally, just as another student who would be taking that dual enrollment course.
Yes, thank you. That's I try to say. I'm happy to know that you are looking maybe more other universities, college in the future, right? So that's this partnership, choosing the partner. I understand this is pretty important because you are going to teachers, students going to put a lot of effort, money into this. So. That's the criteria considerations.
Yeah, and just for those that are new to the board, we did start this initially with Syracuse University, which is where we started all of this work a year ago, and that's how long ago it dates back. The problem is we had to get on an application to the state in New Jersey for that, and that just came in, so that kind of stalled our partnership with Syracuse. And we were able to jump in with Seton Hall to keep the momentum going. We're also looking at NJIT, and there are tons of partners out there that we can explore. You don't have to have just one partnership or two partnerships. You can have many partnerships. Our goal this year was just to have 4 classes, and if you look, we've got quite an extensive array of courses that we're offering across all the different disciplines. So one of the great things of going with some of these other partners too will be, you know, some of these like Syracuse, they allow for a certain amount of credits taken in the high school, and then you can automatically get an exception. There's a Project Orange or whatever it
I
might
understand,
be. And we're looking for all that to
And the
benefit our
boarding of
students.
partners is not just one side, it's a two side, a lot of constraints.
100%.
Limited, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this is kind of like initial.
This is our,
path.
this is our,
So,
we're taking
that's
baby steps to get there,
yeah,
but you know,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
But
that's,
we plan on growing this program to benefit our students here and make it a really rich
Yeah.
opportunity, because it's going to complement the AP program. It's not going to take anything away from it, and
Yeah,
it's not going to
yeah.
replace it. It's a complement to enhance our offerings.
The partners are, you know,
Correct.
which universities, college, that's, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Longley Richards.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you as well, because I really do believe that this is a game changer, especially for those CPA and CPA-B kids who wouldn't necessarily have had an opportunity to take an AP class, maybe weren't driven, maybe with the exam, you know, the timeline, whatever it is. It's really a game changer for them to have accelerated credit on their transcript, because I'm not sure we mentioned that was. That it will be considered accelerated credit, so then that will weight their GPAs, where they might not have had that opportunity before. And the other thing that I thought was super exciting, because I was at the presentation with Ms. Philippi, that they said, not that everybody wants to go to Seton Hall, but if you take their courses and get an A or a B in their class, that it's an automatic accept to Seton Hall University. Not that that's what every kid wants to do, but that's a pretty neat, it's just a nice cap on that, so.
There we go. So, thank you for bringing that up, because I did focus a little bit on the fact that colleges and universities view this
Thank you. Mr. Casson.
Thank you. And did I understand correctly that there is a financial component of $110 per course or per credit for the students?
Yes, that is correct. It's 110 per credit, 330 for the full course, 3 credits.
And is there a program in place for students who may need financial support for that?
Yes, we are going to be looking at using our free and reduced lunch program as the threshold for that. So if you are eligible for free lunch, then you would be free. If you are eligible for 50% reduction, you'd be eligible for 50% reduction. And we are going to allocate funding to support that program as necessary.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Wonderful. Those are some really valuable presentations. We really appreciate all your work and effort that went into that. It was very clear there's a lot of thought behind all those decisions. I will quickly go through a board president's report. First, a reminder to my fellow board members, you should have received an email regarding the filing of your 2026 personal/relative and financial disclosure statements. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to Mr. Stars. Just a couple things on my report. I was really fortunate on Friday and on Sunday to get to participate in a few Lunar New Year celebrations. The elementary schools, the Millburn Short Hills Chinese Association sponsored dragon dances at each of the elementary schools, and it was amazing. Dr. Diskin, Ms. Wong, and I all were able to attend at least a few of the schools, and it was the excitement on the kids' faces and everybody else. It was very well received and absolutely lovely, and the Sunday event was wildly popular and well attended. I don't know that I've ever seen that many people in the Millburn High School parking lot. It was very exciting. Another quick update, if you have in your spare time checked out the millburn.org website and the Board of Education part of it, we have a new ad hoc committee this year. It's called the Steering Committee. I am the chair of it, and it is made up of the chairs of the other 3 regular committees. And the purpose of that is really to give an extra avenue of communication to ensure that all of the board members are well informed and included in any activities or any concerns that we have. One last little shout out. I got to go to the library also this weekend. It was like a big weekend for me. And it is a really incredible resource that we have right in our community. If you have a chance, it's a great place to there's programming, there's so many things there that you can take advantage of, and it's open to the public. Check out a book, whatever else you can do there. It really is a great resource. And that is my president's report. Thank you. Dr. Diskin.
All right, thank you. I also would like to just recognize the Millburn Chinese Association. It was such a great event. You know, at Deerfield School, the kids were lined up in the hallway with their different projects, and they marched through with the dragon. It was just really a nice thing to see. And as well as the Sunday presentation, it was the talent of those kids is just really remarkable. So if you didn't get an opportunity to visit next year, please do. Tonight, I'm pleased to provide some context to some hires tonight on our personnel report, recommended by our principal, Mr. Nixon, for Millburn High School's assistant principals. The recommendations on the agenda tonight follow a comprehensive and a collaborative hiring process. Mr. Nixon personally paper screened 142 applicants. From there, 22 candidates participated in introductory online interviews, followed by 2 rounds of committee interviews that included teachers, supervisors, and district leaders. The candidates were then evaluated using structured rubrics to balance the qualitative feedback with the quantitative scoring, and then the finalists completed a performance task. While Mr. Nixon makes that final recommendation in consultation with senior administration, there was strong stakeholder consensus that 2 of the candidates are being brought forward this evening. The first is Mr. Chris Dressel. He is currently our Director of Athletics and a former Millburn math teacher. He brings a strong instructional and analytical background to our high school. He began his tenure here in Millburn High School as a highly effective math teacher, so we welcome his expertise in that area. He's widely regarded as a thoughtful leader who has built a positive relationship with students and staff and leads with growth-oriented mindset, so we welcome Mr. Dressel. Also, second recommendation is candidate Ms. Jacqueline Bartlett, currently an assistant principal in Berkeley Heights, where she also served as acting principal. She brings deep experience in high school operations, student services, scheduling, assessment coordination, and school improvement work, along with a strong track record of instructional leadership and organizational effectiveness. So we welcome Ms. Bartlett to our team. And together, these 2 leaders, along with Mr. Nixon, create that full staff at Millburn High School for the administration team. We are confident that they will be a strong team, and these additions will help to make Millburn High School the best it can be. So congratulations and welcome. In addition, our strategic planning update, the second core planning team meeting was held on Monday, February 2nd. Parents, district staff, teachers, administrators, community members, and the such worked together to support a deeper discussion. The teams were divided into smaller working groups, allowing for a more meaningful dialogue and engagement. The participants worked together to shape a shared vision for the district and began identifying clear, concrete indicators of success for future planning. The district again extends our thanks to Pomptonian for providing those refreshments, which help sustain the energy and focus during the evening's work. Again, as always, keep up to date with strategic planning on our strategic planning website. And again, kindergarten registration will open on February 16th and close on April 1st. Check with your friends and neighbors, remind them if you've got if you've got a student that's currently in our district and you have a little one at home, please sign them up, right? Spread the word. And we're also wrapping up that pre-K registration for holding the lottery on February 11th for our 3-year-old program and establishing the wait list for the 4-year-old program. And finally, our communication survey, the district-wide communication survey is still open. We like to gather feedback, and it will close on Friday, February 13th. Happy Valentine's Day on that one. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. We could go on with our board committee reports. We'll start with Program Committee, which I believe Ms. Longley Richards will be subbing for Mr. Finkelstein.
All right. The program committee met on Friday, January 30th at 2 p.m. Attendees were Andrew Finkelstein, Chair, Ms. Abigail Spaltz as a sub, Mr. Noel Bigman, and myself, Ms. Cynthia Longley Richards. Administration present, Dr. Diskin, Mr. Connolly, and Mr. Nixon. And the staff present were Ms. Una Abrams and Ms. Catherine Alvarez. On the agenda tonight, we recommend that the Board of Ed will approve the following. The dual enrollment program overview. We received and reviewed the presentation on the dual enrollment program provided by Ms. Alvarez, the Director of Guidance, including an update on college outreach efforts and planned on-site college and university visits. We also discussed high school course naming conventions with ongoing review of high school course naming conventions, specifically the use of the terms accelerated and honors. The high school drop and add procedures. We received and reviewed the proposed recommendations regarding high school drop and add procedures presented by Mr. Nixon, the high school principal, with further discussion to occur at a future meeting. And we discussed the AP seminar textbook adoption for the approval of the textbook and resource called They Say, I Say for the new AP seminar, AP ELA elective at Millburn, effective for the 26-27 school year. And that is it. So for program committee, respectfully submitted.
Thank you, and now we'll hear from you again for the Board and Staff Committee.
Just left my mic on. Okay, so, all right, the Board Staff Liaison Committee met on February 5th at 3:30 p.m. In attendance were myself, the committee chair, Mr. Noel Bigman, Ms. Wei Wei Huang, Ms. Abby Speltz, who was subbing for Mr. Farashutin. Administration present, Dr. Diskin, Mr. Connolly, Mr. Arlington, and Ms. Soa. And staff present were Ms. Danielle Green, Ms. Leo Monaco, and Ms. Kristen Muller. So this was the Board Staff Liaison Committee's second meeting of the year. The meeting opened with introductions and a review of established communication protocols, which moved from the Faculty Leadership Council at the building level to the District Leadership Council. The committee provides a structural forum for two-way communication between the Board of Education and the district staff on issues requiring board involvement. The agenda focused on calendar development for the 27-28, the 28-29, and the 29-30 school years, with discussion centered on the development process and staff input. The committee adjourned at 4:30 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Cynthia Longley Richards.
Thank you very much. And now we can move on to the Assistant Superintendent report, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We had our Professional Development Day on February 2nd. Elementary educators focused on district-wide implementation of the WIN period, What I Need, through differentiated instruction facilitated by our ESL teachers, instructional technology facilitators, and the CNI administrators. At Washington School, ESL specialists turnkeyed the multi-language ML professional learning for grade 5 teachers. At Millburn High School, world language teachers engaged in vertical articulation, performance-based assessment, differentiation, and the AI framework. Secondary educators emphasized vertical and horizontal articulation to ensure consistency in expectations, grading, instructional pathways, and best practices. The music teachers focused on the choral festival planning, while art teachers addressed the budget review and ordering. Counselors analyzed data to address opportunity gaps, and the nurses focused on the wellness and technology. Special Services Department participated in differentiated professional learning, including inclusive practices, behavior sports, and PLAF writing. And paraprofessionals were trained to support students with challenging behaviors, and a committee of special education teachers developed shared goals and objectives for the user guide. Grading and assessment update in MHSQ Q2 and midterm grades. The curriculum and instruction team will prepare a comprehensive update on our progress with the grading and assessment initiative and the high school's performance through semester 1 and on the midterms. This presentation is anticipated to be delivered in an upcoming Board of Education meeting. Additionally, Q2 grades are scheduled to be released tomorrow via the parent portal. The high school is committed to meeting this timeline and recognizes the importance of timely grade release for transcript purposes. Should any change to the Q2 grades and midterm grades come up, Mr. Nixon will communicate directly with the high school community. Scholastic Art Regional Awards. MHS students earned 150 medals this year at the Scholastic Art Regional Awards, competing against 80,000 entries across the eastern United States, including New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, and the Carolinas. This the nation's largest and most prestigious art competition, the Scholastic Art Awards, represents a significant achievement for our students. Millburn High School led all area schools with 47 students earning 150 medals, far surpassing our neighboring schools such as Livingston, Chatham, Newark Academy, and Summit. Millburn High School Art Department remains a leader in the arts and proudly upholds its tradition of excellence in the visual arts. Please flip through this Scholastic Regional Awards slideshow that'll be available on the website and note the names of the winners and see a different side of MHS students and what can be accomplished when disciplined practice meets the creativity in the arts. We look forward to celebrating these accomplishments at a future board meeting. Congratulations to our outstanding students, our outstanding artists on this remarkable achievement. The Linkit Parent Portal Update. We have received several inquiries regarding the Linkit Parent Portal. We have encountered some challenges with how the Power School and Linkit communicate and the format that the data is received. The rollout does not mirror the pilot and thus still requires some work. In the meantime, should you wish to see your child's benchmark assessment scores, please contact Ms. Una Abrams or Ms. Leanne Martin, and they will provide those to you. Additional information will be forthcoming from the Office of Curriculum Instruction in the coming days. We thank you for your patience as we work through some of these implementation challenges. The World Read Aloud. Washington Schools celebrated the World Read Aloud Day on February 4th with 30-minute virtual visits from children's authors who shared their stories and insight into the writing process. It was an engaging and memorable experience for our fifth graders. The Youth Art Month. Please save the date for the 2026 Youth Art Celebration on February 26th at Millburn High School. Students' artwork from across the district will be displayed beginning at 3 p.m., followed by performances by the Music and Dance Department from 6 to 8 p.m. This event celebrates Youth Art Month and showcases the creativity and talent of the Millburn students. Black History Month. Across the district, teachers and club advisors are engaging students in activities celebrating key figures and events throughout February. Millburn Township Public Schools continues to build on its commitment to supporting the diverse backgrounds that make up our school community. Wishing all of those celebrating next week a very happy Lunar New Year. Respectfully submitted, John Connolly.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. And with that, it looks like we're ready for public comments. Oh my gosh, only the most important part. Mr. Torre, would you please jump in there? Thank you. So sorry.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So over the past 2 weeks, Millburn High School has remained busy with academics, activities, and athletics as students continue through the second semester. With midterms completed, quarter 3 is underway, and students have settled back into their usual routines. Academically, the Science Research Program is now accepting applications for the 2026 to 2027 school year, offering students an opportunity to engage in advanced research. The school also celebrated School Counseling Appreciation Week, recognizing the vital support counselors provide to the student body. We also want to congratulate our Millburn High School artists who collectively earned 150 medals in the Scholastic Art Regional Awards, which is a remarkable accomplishment that highlights the strength of our art programs. And regarding athletics, Millburn boys and girls basketball advanced in the Essex County Tournament with several standout individual performances. Boys basketball extended its success to an 18-4 overall record, while girls basketball improved to 14-7. Both boys and girls fencing earned decisive wins, with the boys receiving the #1 seed and the girls earning a top 7 seed in the state tournament. And both swimming teams celebrated senior night with dominant victories over Bloomfield. Thank you and have a good evening.
Wonderful job. Thank you very much. And now, I was just kidding before, public comments. If you would, please state your name and address for the record. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. And let's see what you have. Hold on, let's make sure the microphone works.
Check, check. My name is Jeffrey Feld, 11 Alexander Lane, Short Hills, New Jersey. Basically, I have 4 areas to talk about. First, I want to thank you on the presentations we had and the questions about the tuition, about the pathways, because we are going to have gun versus butter issues later tonight. As to your minutes, and I'm surprised there hasn't been any discussion of the annual public forum that was held a week ago on February 1st. Some very interesting citizen comments were made. I'm biased because one of them was made by my wife. But there was also responses by the administration that are not reflected in the minutes. I think it's very important for the public to know about the concept, and I like the phrase academic maturity that's now being used for one of the reasons being for the pathways. Also, about the guidance department now reaching out to the universities and colleges to build the relationships that we lost. And I think that was a very important statement, but it's not reflected in your minutes. As to the turf fields, I really compliment you that you, unlike the Township Committee, have shared the agreement with the public. There are questions I have about the process, the source of funding, because you're going to be using your capital reserve funds, not just only for the project, where it's just really not clear about whether the cost that you're going to bear includes the lighting. If you attended the last Township Committee meeting, there's still questions whether the public has supported the idea of turf or what type of turf to be used. Tomorrow, the Environmental Commission is meeting, and one of the issues that they're going to be discussing is the idea of the turf fields. I am just concerned as to, this might be nuts and bolts legal. When we did the library field, that was a lease agreement. This is a joint service agreement. There are different relationships. There's questions as to the township with the offering materials that they did with the bond anticipation note, where they agreed with the new lender not to go out into the marketplace to fund any other projects this year. So I don't know how the township is going to fund it, because right now we still haven't figured out the open space tax. And I'm just saying caution. Also, when you talk about monies, a school board is different than a regular private entity. You approved a budget for this year. And I think there's steps that you had to, even though you say you're going to a capital reserve fund to fund these expenses, like it's not just the field, but also today you're going to approve, I think, a contract for about $190,000. Like, what is the process? Do you have to go to the state to get approval for like this new change? Because at some point, school boards, when they make capital expenditures, just give me a minute, if I may, you usually go out for referendums. At some point, you're going to want to replenish the monies that you're invading to pay this project, which is your capital reserve fund. So somewhere down the road, we're going to have a referendum to approve the refunding of these and replenishing of these monies. I'm just saying be cautious. There's a lot of little questions in here.
Thank you, Mr. Feld. If there are no other comments, I'd like to open the floor to the board members for any discussion on our upcoming agenda items. Mr. Bigman.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk briefly about the business agenda item for the approval for the turf fields. Let me just see. So that's business agenda item 3A, 3B, and 3C. my role for the past year or more on the Joint Facilities Committee has allowed me to become very familiar with the project. And I'll call it a project because I do not want to look at it as an expense to the community. I think it's actually an investment. And I'm an accountant by background, and I'm in finance, so like I know the difference between spending money for operations and investing in our future. The investment in our future is really to solve a deficit of playing hours for our entire community. So that actually bridges the gap between our educational institution, which goes from pre-K through 12th grade, and includes most of our students that actually play middle school sports, but we don't have a middle school sports team. We actually rely on the Millburn Recreation Department for that. As a result of that structure and setup, I know that the town and the community, at least from the feedback that I've gotten from the couple of the meetings that I've attended, one sponsored at the high school and one right in this room by the rec department, the overwhelming feedback received by the community I said overwhelming, but it was overwhelmingly positive. And I know that the amount of money that's being spent has been referred to as being a lot or high or much. But in reality, the way I look at it is it looks like a joint project between the Board of Education as well as the Township. And in that regard, it's actually spreading the cost among two entities. From the Board of Education's perspective, Peter, you can talk more about the adequacy of the capital reserve to support the Board of Education's component and the procedures that are required. But I do know from attending the Township Committee meeting last week, there was a unanimous approval for this project. There was no real issue in terms of receiving Township Committee member votes. Now, having said that, I do not understand fully the township funding component side of it, and I think that's going to be forthcoming. The additional things that we should consider is I did hear comments that this project has been on the table for, one comment was over a decade. So what I do know is that every year that goes by, it's actually detrimental to our community and to our educational establishment when we don't have playing hours for our students, because I think of that as an extension of our education. We have rain delays, we have inadequate fields, especially when you consider the teams that we play against, not only in Essex County, but throughout the state. And I think this really, I'm taking this really from the wording of the presentation, but this puts us on par with what our community expects and what I think our children deserve. So I hope, given all the things that we have to go through, again, I'm not familiar with all the steps, and maybe Peter, you could spend some time on that if it's appropriate. But I do think the faster we move on this, the fewer we'll miss fewer opportunities for playing sports, mostly soccer and field hockey, lacrosse. There's also an additional program coming on, which is called Girls Flag Football. And, I think everybody should be familiar and aware of that by now, but that causes additional constraints with playing opportunities. So this project, I did have the opportunity to meet with people from the town that included Chris Myers, who's the head of the Recreation Department. I've met with two of the committee members on the Facilities Committee. One was Ben Stoller and Michael Cohen. And I also met with Chris Drexel from as our athletic director. And I have to tell you, I was really impressed with the level of competence, the professionalism, and all the things that come together. So like even though it's been characterized as taking very long, I think we're actually at a point right now where we can move very quickly so that we improve the future for our students.
Thank you, Mr. Bigman. If I could add one comment to that, having also attended those two meetings, I think the biggest takeaway was that people were asking for more. Like, not saying we should do less, but actually that we should do more.
Yeah, So there were a few concerns, and maybe I could spend a minute if it's not too long, just to explain. There were a lot of concerns along the lines of money or cost. And obviously, like with the headlines that we're reading about with school districts almost weekly, and we know that there are rising costs in districts, obviously that's an area that deserves attention. But again, if you look at this as a multi-year project, the life of it's somewhere between 10 and 50 years. If you just looked at the cost of that and you looked at things like annual operating costs of maintaining grass fields versus turf fields, there's actually savings. And then as Chris Dreschel reminded us, once you put Millburn on the map from a sports perspective, there's also additional revenue opportunities that could come into the school district once the educational component as well as the rec department component are satisfied if there's anything excess. The other area that received a lot of attention was related to the use of turf. And that's an environmental concern, as it was characterized as being unhealthy for the environment as well as unhealthy for humans, generally speaking. And those characterizations, like I did a lot of research. I know Chris Myers has provided a lot of information to us as a board and as the rec department. And again, based upon their level of expertise and professionalism, I would say that the engineering department, the engineering group that we've retained has a tremendous amount of research that's actually very supportive of using different types of turf fields. We're just not at that level of approval yet. We're just actually approving it on the business agenda item to get to that next level, which is called the engineering phase. And I hope that's what we can get to tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Casson.
I have two. One, I just want to follow along and say thank you to Mr. Bigman for those comments. Before my role here, many years ago, I was on the Recreation Commission that approved the library field and went through all the processes and steps to get all that completed, and it was quite the task. I was very proud of the team that got that done, and all I can tell you is the Recreation Commission has often wanted more and better fields to allow more and better programs for our Millburn students and community at large, because this does benefit adults as well. I mean, it's just better to have more access for more opportunities for everyone on the sports level, just like we do on the academic level. So thank you, Mr. Bigman, and those who are putting that work forward. I support that. I do have one question for the program committee, and this is just because I am not familiar with the process, being new to the Board of Education, but we have two textbooks being approved tonight. One is the They Say, I Say book, and the other is the Middle Grades World History 2019 Survey Student Edition, Grade 70 Social Studies book. And I was hoping someone could just talk to me through the process of the approval, how these were selected, and what, I guess that's it, the process for approval and how these ones were selected, please.
Mr. Connolly?
Yes. So we'll start with the first one, the AP seminar textbook. Mrs. Abrams and her team did extensive research when bringing on the AP and making the recommendation for the AP course. It does require a textbook. They did go out and look at some other peer districts to see what they were using as a resource. Some use a resource, some don't. AP Seminar in and of itself is an interesting class because it could be taught in social studies, it could be taught in science, it could be taught in ELA. So they feel like this text is a good text. It was a good recommendation, and it was given to the program committee to review. Ms. Abrams presented on it and added some additional context to that. So that's the process that goes through. Same thing with the world history book in 7th grade. This was a continuation of trying to add a resource into the middle school grades because we haven't had one. So they did extensive research looking at what text and what online resources would be available. And this is the one that they've made a recommendation to go with. So again, was provided some information. Ms. Graff also was able to speak to the committee.
Thank you. So for my own clarity, that's a combination of the teachers, the academic administrators, and the board programming committee all had input into the process of the selection of the text materials?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other points for discussion? Excellent. So first, could I have a motion and a second? Make sure I'm on the right one. Yes. Could I have a motion and a second to approve instructional items 1A through 1D? Mr. Casson, Ms. Longley Richards. Roll call, please, Mr. Stars.
Ms. Wang,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence,
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Bigman,
Yes.
Mr. Casson,
Yes.
Ms. Speltz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Could I now have a motion and a second to approve Personnel Report 2A? Mr. Bigman, Ms. Longley Richards. Roll call, Mr. Stars.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence, yes, thank you. Ms. Longley Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Bigman,
Yes.
Mr. Casson,
Yes.
Ms. Wang,
Yes.
Ms. Speltz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to approve business items 3A through 3D? Mr. Lawrence? Can I have a second? Mr. Bigman? Roll call, please.
Ms. Longley Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Bigman,
Yes.
Mr. Casson,
Yes.
Ms. Wang,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence,
Yes.
Ms. Speltz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to approve special services item 4A? Mr. Casson? Can I have a second? Ms. Longley Richards? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bigman,
Yes.
Mr. Casson,
Yes.
Ms. Wang,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards.
Yes.
Ms. Speltz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the following policies for second reading? Mr. Casson, Mr. Bigman? Roll call, please.
Mr. Casson,
Yes.
Ms. Wang,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence,
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Bigman,
Yes.
Ms. Speltz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you very much. Do we have any old business? New business? All right, public comments, same rules as before. Please state your name and address for the record. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes.
I'm Jeffrey Feld. Regarding the library, come Valentine's Day, if you're cheap, they're going to be showing probably one of the greatest rom-coms at 2 o'clock, a Roman holiday, and that's one of the benefits, because you talk about the library, that's one of the best things for a cheap holiday. Especially, I wish the students were here so they could have the same idioms and grammar that we could share about films. And I also welcome the discussion we did have about the fields, because what you really did tell the public, that this is an executory, we're beginning the process, that this isn't a final contract, that there will be other contracts and other discussions going forward, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feld. If there are no other public comments, we'll take board member comments. Ms. Wen.
Yeah, we just, had our annual forum. I just have 2 comments. I think the one comment, I think the topic is about the academic integrity. I think the administration list is one of the key issues. I just want to take this chance to emphasize how important for our students. So academic integrity is the foundation of students' learning. So as a whole community, not only schools, teachers, but also the parents, lead to foster culture of academic integrity. We also need to uphold, reinforce. So that's the one I would like to emphasize. That's pretty important, I think, as a teacher, as parents, we know. And during our strategic core meeting, we identify we want our students to be ethical leaders in the future, right? So yeah, that's I just want to say that. Another thing I observe, and it was a cold day, and I very appreciate the teachers, administrators, and the parents, residents, come to join the forum. I noticed that we have how many families? I think we have more than 3,000 families. We have 4,500 students. I kind of expect the attendance of our parents can be a little bit higher than last year. So I hope it's a forum, it's an annual forum, it's open forum. I think it's a very important opportunity for the whole community to talk with each other, to share the recommendations, suggestions, good, bad, it's okay. That's ideal hope. We may see more parents rather than attend our forum. That's my second comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Excellent. So with that, can I have a motion and a second to go into closed session? Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Bigman? All in favor? Thank you very much. We will not, there's no action after closed except to adjourn the meeting. Thank you.